All right. You're all set, John.
Okay, so we took the roll call. Item 2, virtual meeting protocol review. I think we all know the drill. So we'll do the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States
of America,
and to the
to the
republic
republic
for which it
for which it
stands,
stands,
one
one
nation,
nation,
under
under
God,
God,
indivisible,
indivisible,
with liberty
liberty,
and
and
justice for all. Item 4, opening remarks, if anybody has any.
John, I just like to thank Alyssa. You know, obviously we had a deluge this morning, and it was actually very, very helpful to get a message that that the folks on site knew that there were issues and took care of them. So, so much appreciated. So thank you, Alyssa.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you, Alyssa. Maybe you can just enlighten us a little bit more during the OPM presentation.
Sure thing.
All right. Is the superintendent on? I don't see him. How about Mr. Bray? Any opening remarks?
All I'll say, John, is a few weeks ago, I did get a chance to visit it with Lil. And I know I speak for everyone that we are very excited, and we appreciate again the town approving of it. And we're looking forward to the beam signing coming up. We've invited some students to come, and I know they're very excited to be a part of it. And Mr. Dolan and Mrs. Holbrook today had me send something to the staff, giving them an opportunity. They won't be able to participate in the ceremony, but they've been provided some times that they can come so that they can also sign the beam as well. And like I said, I know I speak for everyone at Mitchell, parents, staff, students. We're all very excited. So we're very appreciative of the town of Bridgewater and their efforts.
Great, thank you. All right. Item 5, approval of previous meeting minutes from June 14th, 2021.
I'll move to approve, John. This is Mark.
Second, Joe.
I actually have a formality question. I've just forgotten. I was not at the meeting. So do I have to abstain? And if I
No.
do, does that mean we don't have a quorum for
No,
that vote?
You have a quorum present. You don't need, you can vote the minutes without, without requiring the quorum of the vote. So you've got a quorum present, so you can vote, you can abstain, and you still can record the vote for the minutes.
Okay. Thank you.
Do you want me to read the roll?
That would be great if you could.
I will do that. I told you I'm
Michael,
not.
before you do that, I just have a question on the minutes. A couple of things. The amount for the requisition was not put on there. Is there a reason we're not putting that amount on there?
There should be no reason that it can't. It should be on there actually.
Yeah,
Okay.
typically it is. Typically it is, Michael, unless there's a reason why we would want to reduce it, or we're looking to approve it not to exceed. But typically the numbers applied on the agenda.
Joe, do you have the number?
Alyssa does, I'm sure.
Yes.
And this is the number for the meeting, the minutes, for the purposes of the minutes, right?
Yes.
Last meeting.
Right. So Lil, requisition number 5 didn't have a dollar value associated with it, but approval of change order number 1 did.
Correct.
Okay. Yeah, we should
Just
have that.
trying to
in there.
make sure she was paying attention, John. She does a very good job.
She
Well, if
does.
it's gonna fall back on me, Joe, I'm telling you, I'm not going to jail over the minutes.
And I was there last in June, but I'm not listed.
You are listed, Lisa.
I'm listed now.
I got the updated copy today. There were a few people that were not on there. Bob Pacheco, we put you on. Derek Swenson was put on. And John was put on, Bartecki. They were missing on the attendance. But Josh, I spoke to him and he put them on.
So Alyssa, if you want to let me know what the amount is, maybe we can amend the minutes to include that amount.
The requisition 5 value was $2,383,960. 2,383,960.
Okay, and if somebody wants to make a motion to amend the minutes to that effect,
Can
To
I add it to
include
my
that amount?
motion? Can I add it to my motion, Michael? I'll just include it in my motion to approve.
that's fine, as long as it's okay with John.
It is.
And Joe, I think seconded. Is that okay, Joe?
Yes, it is.
All right.
Michael, I'm sorry, I have one more question. In my discussion with Josh today, I noticed that in the minutes, it said that the second motion was duly noted, language like that. I know that it's part of Robert's rules, it's standard practice, but we have always given the name of the person who seconded the motion. Is there a reason that we're changing that at this point? I just was confused by it all because our records, I know that Josh has a record of it, but the school department would not have a record of it because we take the signed minutes, I send them to Judy, and she runs them off on that forever paper. So nowhere there does it show. So if we're ever audited, we don't have any record of who made the seconded the motion.
You can certainly, I think what we're trying to do is just develop more consistency right across the board. But if the committee decides, and so I don't know, Robert's rules does, actually, it's interesting, Robert's rules says you shouldn't put the name of the person that
Right.
did the second. But if the committee feels that that's important and wants to include that, that's no problem. So I guess I'd defer to the committee. I mean, if that's not an issue at all, if we want to do that.
Well, maybe we can revisit that after we take the vote, but let me ask a question. So what does the school committee do?
As far as keeping
Naming.
minutes,
Naming the, in lieu of duly seconded, do they?
oh, we name the
We
person.
list, right?
Mhm.
So my thought is, since we're a subsidiary of the school committee, we should, if there's any question, follow their rules. That's just my suggestion, their format, rather.
Mhm.
Okay, so should.
That's fine. We can do that. If you want to hold off on these minutes and add the second, we can come back and approve these minutes at your next meeting if you want to do that. And we'll just add in the dollar amount, and then we'll just add in who made the second on those.
I personally would feel more comfortable with that, if you don't mind, Michael.
No, that's no problem.
Okay.
Okay, so we have a motion and a second. So what do we do? Do we
So,
just,
yep, Mark and Joe should withdraw their motions if we're gonna continue the minutes to the next meeting.
Okay, I'll withdraw my motion.
And we'll do the same. Second.
Perfect. And then you just take no action and we would, the adjusted minutes will come back to your next meeting.
Okay, thanks.
No problem.
All right, well, thanks, Lil. I did not even pick up on that.
Told you, I'm not going to minute jail.
Is that forever paper, sort of like what Barney Rubble used to chisel into the granite on the
Sure.
Flintstones? Is that what it
Yeah.
is?
It's supposed to be non-fadable. It's supposed to last forever. I don't know.
I
So
guess,
I'll
we-
ask,
Supposed to
who's
last
Barney Rubble?
100 years.
Oh, Michael
who's
Dolan,
Barney Rubble?
stop.
His feet are tired getting to work. He does not need an EV charger. All right, item 6, approval of Bacon payment requisition number 6, vote required.
I am
Nice.
disabled from screen sharing.
Oh, hold on, Melissa. There you go.
All right. Can everyone see my screen?
Yes.
Yes.
Oh, somebody named Michael Wash entered the waiting room.
Okay. Thank you.
Can you just make that a little larger for me?
Sure. So the amount due this for June is $2,976,821. And this is inclusive of change order 1, which was voted last month, which was change order 1, $31,373.15.
Any questions or comments?
Just a quick one. I'm just wondering if we can make sure we get this before the meeting going forward. We also didn't get the other report prior to today's meeting.
I did send it out on Thursday
Yeah, we received it.
early.
We
Okay,
did. It's from Alyssa though, Mark.
okay,
Right. Yeah, usually Mike sends it out, but he was out last week.
okay. Thank you. Sorry
No
about
problem. No worries.
All right, well, if there isn't any discussion, then we would take a vote.
I think you need a
Motion
mo,
to- Oh, sorry, go ahead.
no, go ahead, Lil. I was
Oh,
just
yeah,
gonna ask
the
for a
motion.
motion.
Yeah, I'm
Okay,
sorry.
motion to approve Bacon payment requisition number 6 in the amount of $2,976,821.
Second,
All right. Ready for a roll call?
Ready?
All right. Pat Driscoll
Yes.
and Scott,
Yes.
Joe,
yes.
Mark,
yes.
Lil,
Yes.
Mike Dolan,
Yes.
and John.
Yes.
I think I got everybody.
All right, moving on to item 7, OPM update.
Great. So, progress report for this past month. Weekly OAC meetings are still held every Tuesday at 1 o'clock. We're meeting kind of hybrid still. The project is on schedule with no lost time incidents. As for construction activities, bakings continue to erect steel at part B and C. We're now detailing through the end of this month. The beam signing is the week of July 26th, with the ceremony on Thursday, the 29th. So that last beam will be set into place the end of this month. Bacon's continuing the foundation work with rebar, forms, and footings for part B and C. We're continuing to test rebar, concrete, compaction, and steel. Retaining wall number 1 and infiltration system number 1 is ongoing. Underground utilities are ongoing with plumbing and electrical being installed. We're looking to pour slab on deck this Friday, and slab on grade preparation is ongoing this week. They're putting down fiber mesh, and we're continuing to install roof drains. Safety reports are being uploaded to Procore. They have weekly walkthroughs with a company called CRM. And we had 3 meetings in the past month for the beam signing and topping off ceremony, which invitations are going out today. And the speakers have all been solidified for that event. And we had a meeting on the 29th with RDA and Bacon to review change order number 2. So those are still under revision and under review between ourselves and RDA. And a pre-construction meeting was held for roofing, AVB, masonry, and framing. So this is just a 3-week look ahead for the next few weeks under Bacon's schedule. They're continuing foundations. As I mentioned, we're prepping for slab on grade right now with a pour date. Might be next week with the rain. They're continuing sleeves for slab on deck. They're continuing electrical work, putting in duct banks and conduits. And we're continuing underground work such as plumbing, and continuing to erect steel at BNC and detailing the roof level of BNC. They're continuing concrete for the roof pads, which will be poured this week. Also slab on deck, 2nd level, and then hopefully slab on grade for early next week at this point. Continuing for the slab on grade vapor barrier at part A, installing HVAC hangers, and starting the roofing work this week. Are there any questions on the schedule?
I had a general question.
Sure.
Did somebody else have a question? I'm sorry. Yeah, has the weather caused any, even if they're not formal delays, have they gotten behind because of the weather? Maybe not so behind that they can't recover or aren't within their float? Just
No,
curious.
they haven't been behind with rain dates. Today, there was a little bit of an early release, but it hasn't affected subcontractors being on site and committing to work.
Okay.
So with the rain, though, they weren't able to pour concrete today, so that had to get pushed to tomorrow. So it's little things like that where it may be a day off, but not so much where they can't make up time.
Yeah,
Okay.
they have it built within the flow of time, John, and Rick is going to be providing an updated schedule over the next couple of weeks, and we'll compare it to the 3-week look ahead to make sure that they're on schedule.
Okay, sounds good. Thank you.
Any other questions on the schedule? We do plan to meet with Bacon's team with this newest update to make sure that we're on target with the baseline that they put out. So once we receive that update, likely this week, we'll have a meeting with them and we can update in the next meeting. So these are just a few progress photos of work going on. This is the foundation piers in Building B. This is the slab on deck that was poured at the 1st level. Steel erection and detailing continuing. This is just an overall update of what it looks like now. Underground plumbing work continues. Underground electrical work. These are the conduits going into the building. Infiltration system at the parking lot. This is all covered now. Drainage structures and piping. We're nearing completion with underground drainage. Retaining wall installation continues. This is just the geotech fabric here. And then, so just milestones, we're still on schedule. I went over the 3-week look ahead, which included these items, but this just gives you a better idea of the items happening through July. Telecom, infiltration systems, backfilling the foundations, installing drainage structures, excavating for underground plumbing, continuing to install that piping. Slab on deck reinforcing at part A and B. And then we're continuing steel erection through the end of the month with the sleeves as needed for penetrations. So next building committee meetings, 58 is August 9th and 59 is September 13th.
I had a question on that.
Sure.
The beam signing. Do we have to post that as any type of meeting?
If you don't have a quorum there, it's not going to be an issue.
Yeah, I concur. If you're not having discussion or you're not debating towards a vote, and it's purely ceremonial, then you don't have to post it. You certainly can, just to be on the safe side, but you don't have to.
Yeah, from my understanding, we didn't want to invite more than just the attendees list due to COVID precautions. So just trying to keep it smaller if possible.
Thank you.
This is the total project budget
Melissa,
update.
before you jump into that, I just want to make sure you mention the National Grid and the easement that we're tracking down, just for, one of the potential risks that we're tracking right now.
Yeah, so we've been contacting National Grid daily at this point to get them back on site for inspections of underground telecom work. We're not able to get temporary power into the building right now because they're holding up their inspections from National Grid due to an easement issue. So we've been talking under our work request number for all the paperwork that's been filed. We already have our easement issued. We already have our permit. We already have the fee paid, and National Grid is holding up inspections due to this easement issue. So we've tried to get more information from our counterpart there and other members of National Grid, and they've been very unresponsive. We've emailed, we've called, and actually the town's attorney has also called and reached out and is willing to do any paperwork or sign anything that needs to be done. But the issue lies with National Grid just being completely unresponsive and what information needs to be provided. So now, yeah.
Go ahead.
Go ahead, Joe.
So my recommendation would be, if you have a representative or a connection with a political point that could make a quick call to National Grid, it would probably expedite it. If town council and our efforts are not being met. So it always helps when you have one of those representatives or the senators call just to say, what's going on with this. The response is usually met relatively quickly.
So just to clarify, Joe, have they told us there's something missing, or is it just no
There
action
was
on their part?
Well, John, there was a original notification that an easement was needed and they couldn't do any work until that easement was rectified. So we immediately tried contacting them directly and couldn't get any clear definitive information as to what the easement was and what they were looking for. I know the town of Bridgewater actually looked into thinking maybe they confused this project with another project. We looked at a number of different avenues, so we got town council involved to try to, expedite the process. So what I'm hoping to do is we're gonna continue our efforts. I mean, we're gonna be relentless with it, but typically, one phone call usually expedites it pretty quickly when a local representative calls and just says, why aren't we getting a response on this? This is tentatively, affecting the overall project schedule for a school that'll be opening up, for the town of Bridgewater, and they respond pretty quickly. I've had that happen successfully in a lot of the projects.
Okay.
I can certainly reach out to Rep. D'Amelia's office and see if he can make a call.
I would appreciate that.
Yeah, no, I'm happy to do that.
Thank you.
When you do make that call, let me know. I want to see how many hours it takes them, because you'd be surprised how quickly they call.
John, could I add something? Mark Pacheco is the chair of the Telecommunications and Energy Subcommittee, the joint committee from the legislature,
Okay.
and he represents our town, so he would probably be a good call too.
Sure.
I can do that as well. Good idea, Mark. Thank you.
Thanks.
So moving forward to total project budget. This is the newest update here. Really, the OPM values, architecture and construction is what's changed. This is for
What's that?
testing.
I had a question. When we process change orders, does that come out of the contingency?
Yes, eventually will fall to the contingency, but since the requisition that included it hasn't been paid, it's not reflected here yet because it hasn't been paid.
And John, we're tracking it against the contingency at any given time, and we'll track responsibilities of, why it happened, where it happened, and the condition related to it.
Okay. But that explains to me why it's not on this, because it hasn't been processed yet.
Right.
Correct.
Yeah, so that's on the most recent requisition that we voted on tonight.
Right.
So next month it will reflect on here.
Great.
John, if I could, have we gotten any indication from MSBA when they're going to actually approve the project budget?
They mentioned the last meeting we had with them, which was about 2 weeks ago, that it was still under review. So I'm expecting that we should be getting comments on it soon.
Yeah, Kevin said that it was at the next level, that it's being reviewed, by a number of people to make sure they get it right, and then we should hear an answer over the next meeting that we have.
Is there any indication of why this one is, are they just backed up and this is just part of the process, or is there some reason that they're really analyzing this one?
Well, I think it's the pandemic. I think, the meetings that they're having, they are covering a lot more information, a lot more project information on each of those meetings. So that and just the meeting schedule related to the MSBA. And then, yes, they are backed up.
Okay, thanks, Joe.
We told them we were very anxious for it as well.
Yes. So we've submitted ProPay 20, and we've been paid 1 through 18 at this point. So 19 and 20 are still currently under review at MSBA. And that's my presentation. Any questions?
Alyssa, do you just want to touch base on what you emailed out this morning? Just John was curious.
Yes, so about the flash flooding?
Yeah.
Yes, so Catalano, the superintendent, his name's Bob, from the site work company, noticed that the water was quickly pooling in Maria and Ronald's property, which is the 488, which abuts the property. So he inspected all of the erosion control around the site and found out that it was intact, but the water was flushing through the erosion control and creating a pool in his yard. So I actually took some photos of the conditions and spoke with the couple. Bacon and Catalano also spoke with them directly. For now, temporary conditions, we're going to install a berm that they had on the previous project that will allow for the water to be kind of trapped in the area. But for long term, I have the plan here. For long term, there's a drainage plan and curbing plan that's going to be installed. So what's this? Sorry, just give me a second. So where this red outline is, this is the curbing around their property. Their property's right here.
That's not
And we
installed
have,
yet.
this is for the long-term drainage plan. So we're gonna have 3 drain manholes here, and there's a catch basin here where the water will be sloped to drain in these areas. And the curbing will stop the water from going into their property. So they are happy with the short-term solution and also happy with the long-term solution, and fully understand that once this water dries up, we'll be able to install that temporary berm along their property. And then Catalano Super also volunteered to sweep their driveway if there's any residual silt that remains on his property. So he was very grateful with that. And we all had contact with them today and told them if they need anything else to reach out. But we are aware of the situation. We want them to know that we're going to work on that.
Okay, so the fix during construction is to construct a berm.
Correct.
You said on their property. It's not on their property, is it?
It's along their property.
Along their
We'll
It's
property.
see.
along this, it'll be just before where the silt fence keeps the silt within the property, the berm will keep the water on our property until the permanent conditions are installed.
Right. Because
So-
as it sits, sorry, go ahead.
No, go ahead, please.
As it sits, the site is actually higher than their property. So even though the erosion control is working, the water is just building up over it and flooding over it, because we literally got 2 inches of rain within 15 minutes.
Right.
So it happened very quickly.
Yeah, I noticed at my property, stone walkways were washed away in the back of the house. But on the curbing, are you saying we're making changes to the drainage and the curbing in the permanent condition?
This is the long-term plan here that I'm showing you. So this isn't there's no change to this
Okay.
drawing here.
So long-term, you mean final construction?
That's
Right.
right.
Got it.
Part of the construction documents,
Okay.
John, includes the drainage and the
Yep.
curbing, and that just isn't installed right now to capture it, that's all.
Got it. Okay, that sounds like a good plan. And most importantly, they were receptive to it, so.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah, that couple has actually been great, so.
Yeah, before this, the silt fence was put in, when I met with the neighbors earlier, we had a rainstorm and a little bit of water had weeped into their yard area. We put the silt fence in place. It captures most standard rainfalls without any issues. When we had the deluge, obviously, today, it created more havoc. So we're gonna take more preventive measures to capture the water, to keep it within our property.
Sounds like a good plan, a good reaction. Does anybody have any questions on this or comments? All right.
Alrighty, thank you.
Thank you. All right, moving on to the designer update.
Hey, everyone.
Hi, Gene.
Hi, we have I have a very, very short update, not unlike the previous months. We continue to process paperwork. John continues to be completely on top of the job. He's out there multiple times a week, and I'm on every Zoom job meeting, and I'm always very happy because there's no submittals, no RFIs, very little paperwork it's kind of open. So I think Bacon's getting everything they need out of RDA, and we're really happy with the way the building's coming together, the site's coming together. Can't wait for the topping off ceremony, and I know there's no tours, but I'm gonna sneak into the building. So,
There's
really,
got to be something to look at, right?
out on the site, there's definitely stuff to look at. Yeah, it's pretty exciting. It's always exciting.
Great.
when the Superstructure goes up and you can see the forms and the spaces. So I don't know if anyone has any questions, but really it's kind of all systems go over here.
Any questions? So Gene, I have one. Remind me again when we start thinking about the whole FF&E.
Oh, the FF&E, we're going to actually accelerate that a little bit, John. We were thinking right after the first of the year. We'll probably dive into it this fall, to be honest, because we've got some other school projects. And one where the furniture is showing up just on time, but there's a lot of concern still. And in the industry, well, there's concern on the owner's part because it's not on the site, but we keep being assured things are going to show up. But I think if we had ordered stuff a few months later, even, we might have had some real problems, because all these manufacturers, they start they start the manufacturing a couple weeks before they're going to ship it, because they don't have a lot of warehouse space. And what's happening is every once in a while, one or two pieces or components that are going into a piece of furniture are not showing up, either because they're not showing up at the port, or they're in the port but they can't get to the factory. So talking to Angela O'Brien, our furnishings consultant, we kind of made we just said to each other, we got to get going early on this and place the orders earlier than we might otherwise do that. So John, to answer, long-winded, right? But
Yeah, that's a couple of months away though, right now, right?
Yep.
So does
I would
the,
concur with Gene, John. There's a number of different projects where we were told a 12-week lead time and it's coming in 16 weeks. So earliest start is a much better approach.
so is there any risk? I'm not suggesting there is, but would we ever put the order in earlier than we normally would and take the risk that it shows up before we can actually install it?
No, I would have them in the specifications, call for, a delivery date, and they, even though the order's in early, we can make sure that the documents calculate, them to hold it until we're ready. So
But does that help guard against what Gene described, where the things are showing up but not complete?
I think Gene, correct me if I'm wrong, it's not getting them complete in manufacturing. So if they start their components, some of the product, and what it is it's manufacturing. All the manufacturing plants got shut down for a period of time. So now all of their attic stock that they had to manufacture these have been sent out, And now the remanufacturing of some of the, the hinges, the feet established with some of the furniture is taking longer to get. So the manufacturing process to make the furniture is taking longer, which is taking longer for the overall schedule of having it delivered. So I think ordering it early gives them more timeline to hit those milestones. That's all.
Got it.
Is that correct, Gene? Hun? Is that, I don't want to speak on.
No, I think you have the problem nailed, Joe. I mean, it's really with the manufacturers and not having all the
Right.
they need sometimes, so it's
Right.
kind of random.
Not all the time.
Okay.
The other thing that's, I mentioned it before, but we're continuing to collect finishes, submittals from Bacon. And that's another whole kind of design effort that will be coming to you at some point and saying, all right, or to the subcommittee, and let's start looking at the colors of what's actually been submitted. So, by the end of the summer, we should be, well, I guess, which is next month, right? We should be really starting to look at finishes with the subcommittee.
All right. So it sounds like soon we can give Dennis and Derek a heads up that committee's subcommittee has to get scheduled and look for participation right after school starts, it sounds like.
Yes, and maybe a little, maybe a little sooner, but it depends when we get all the submittals.
Okay.
That's it, though.
All right. Anybody have any questions, or we ready to move on? All right. Thank you, Gene
You're welcome.
and John.
He's in the background.
Okay, item 9, report of the communication group.
Yep, got quite a bit to cover tonight, but I'll try to make it fast. As Alyssa said, invites went out. Topping off is 7:29 at 10:30 in the morning. An invitation was sent to 71 people. I know Alyssa said small. Tried. I promise, Alyssa, we tried to keep it small. So far, as of right now, we have 28 yeses, 3 nos, and waiting to hear from 40 other people. Senator Pacheco was invited. Representative D'Amelio was invited. Senator Pacheco has said yes and will speak. We've also invited some former students as well. Dennis said that at the beginning of the meeting, so those kids will be there as well. Staff today was invited. Mitchell staff was invited to sign the beam early on Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday, 7:26, 7:27, and 7:28, between the hours of 4 and 6. We are asking all of the committee members here and not here to sign early on those 3 days as well. Alyssa has agreed to sort of staff that from 4 to 6 each night. We cannot have everybody sign the beam at the same time on that day. Otherwise, we'll be there till about 4 o'clock in the evening. And we definitely don't want to be there that long holding up work. So invites included to the town council, school committee, obviously this committee, both current and former members of the committees, the design team, MSBA. The program is coming along. We're going to have 8 speakers. John, Lil, Derek, Mike Dutton, the Senator, Representative D'Amelio, MSBA, and we're hoping that Matt Rushton can also be there as well. The 3 dates for signing, Mark, were 7:26, 7:27, and 7:28 from 4 p.m. to 6 p.m. Lunch is served. It's box lunches from our food service provider. And finally, t-shirts have been ordered. Not everyone gets a t-shirt, to be clear. The students will get the t-shirts because, well, they're kids. And the contractors who are on site working that day will be in the t-shirts that are ordered. They're a safety yellow. For anybody who's been on a work site before, you've seen that yellow and seen those shirts being worn by the contractors. And I think that's it. But Lil, did I miss anything?
Nope, I think you covered it all, Mike. Just that we have, thanks to Gene, he sent over a drawing, a line drawing that will be placed on the back of the shirt. And on the front of the shirt, we will have the topping off ceremony along with the date. That was it, Mike. You covered it all. Nice job.
Okay.
Hey, Mark.
Just a quick question. BTV, are they aware?
They are aware and will be there recording. It will be recorded and streamed over their platforms as well. So yeah, they're on board.
I figured you had that covered.
Yep, Alyssa was on that early.
Thanks.
Yep.
Hey, John, I just have a quick, Pat, I just have a quick question that I was trying to ask earlier, but I was muted, so I was talking to myself for a while.
Sure.
Did in the OPM update, did they say we have change orders coming to us that are pending? Did I hear that correctly? That they're pending review, and if they are, what are those change orders?
Yes, so right now, change order 2 is actually including a credit. So it's actually a negative $3,000 change order as it stands right now. So that one's not ready to be finalized yet, I'll say. And I'm sure there will be a few more when it's time to come submit the next one.
What is that for?
So it's a door veneer change. The glass type change was the credit. And then there was some ASI changes with the civil plan. So very small things. And so right now it actually is a negative $3,000 change order. So it would be a credit to the project.
Thank you.
But I don't want to promise that in case they add other PCOs.
I just wanted to make sure there wasn't anything big looming out there that,
Nope.
all right, thank you.
Thanks, Pat. Okay. Thank you, Michael and Lil. Item 10, the next school building committee meeting. We said it was on August 9th.
Yep.
Item 11, new business. So I don't know, I know we discussed it when we retracted the motion to approve the minutes, but just to clarify, so if we want to include the name of the person that seconds a motion, do we have to vote on that to change our rules or anything? Or are we saying that because that's how the school committee does it, we're okay, we just need to keep track of it and publish it?
I think the latter, John. I think as long as there's consensus on the committee that will include the name of the person that seconds, then that's fine. We can do that. I don't think we need a formal vote. The only thing I would add is just a lot of times people think that, second, being the second on a motion means that you're in support of the motion. And that's not true. A lot of times you'll see people second and they'll make it very clear they're seconding making a second just to encourage debate, but they have no intent on voting for something. So just so people know that, but so if there's dead quiet in the room after a motion, then it's clear that nobody really wants to have a debate on a motion. But if there is a second, it may just be for somebody, for the benefit of hearing the debate, and they don't have any intent of actually voting for the motion. So I don't want people to think that if they make a second, they're locked into having to vote for something.
Good reminder. All right. Next item is 12, public comment. All right. I guess if nobody has anything, then the next item would be adjourn. Somebody wants to make a motion for debate?
I'll make the motion. So move, Mark.
Second,
I'm sorry, who seconded?
Mike Loesch.
Oh, okay, thanks, Michael. All right, roll call vote. Michael Loesch,
Yes.
Pat,
Yes.
Scott,
Yes.
Joe,
Yes.
Mark,
Yes.
Lil,
Yes.
and Mike Dolan,
Yes.
and John Garish.
Yes.
You are adjourned.
Thanks.
All right. Thanks, everybody.
See you soon.
Thanks all.
Good night.
Bye-bye.